Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone. Oh my gosh, I just cannot wait for today's podcast. You are in for a true treat today. A first-time guest for us today, a coaching client of ours. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to share this story with you, and unfortunately, I'm going to make you wait. So here's the thing. First of all, I want you to know that sometimes people say, well, I'm too busy to have an event. Right? And we get it. I get it. You get it. It's one of those where, you know what? Everybody's busy. But you know what? I think what you're going to learn today is that you can be busy and still have an event. The other thing is, oh man, my market's really small. There's not a lot of people here. Or I don't make a lot of commission per transaction because our sales prices aren't very high. So I can't do an event, or I won't do an event because nobody will show up, right? And it's like, I get it. I understand if you're in a really small marketplace, maybe you feel that way. But today you're going to learn that, a small marketplace may be the best place to have an event, because the echoes from the event, the word of mouth, the talk about from your talk about, right? I always say you should have a talk about that people can talk about. And a talk about, one of the best, is an event. So today is going to be all about that. I cannot wait to share. I don't care what market you're in. I don't care what country you're in. This is going to work, and it's going to work big time. So I have to, first of all, give a shout out to Sandy Creston. Sandy Creston is, so some of you don't know this, is that our Referral Mastery Summit was scheduled in Orlando. RMS 22 Orlando was scheduled for September. Well, that's when Hurricane Ian came through and not just wiped out our event, but wiped out a lot of events and wiped out a lot of houses and a lot of buildings and flooded almost all of Florida, basically. And so we have moved it to December 13th, 14th, and 15th. So it's still RMS 22, 80s theme, back to the future of sales. And now we add a holiday twist. So if you're interested in RMS, go to rms22.com. Sandy Creston says, a hurricane is not going to stop Jen. So excited for RMS 22 now in December. I can actually go. I'm coming and teaching an amazing class on owning and organizing your database. Sandy is one of the best teachers in our generosity generation. She can now be there. She couldn't be there in September. Everything kind of happens for a reason sometimes. The call to action is, today you're going to learn from one of our coaching clients, and you may be interested in getting a coach. And this is the perfect time to get a coach. The fourth quarter going into 2023 is really the perfect time to get a coach. But I'm not going to say, hey, listen, just go sign up for coaching. Talk to one of our coaches first. Go to callwithcoach.com. Set the appointment. It is completely no cost, no obligation. We'll talk about your goals for the fourth quarter and 2023. And then you can ask them about maybe what's the best fit for you for the coming year. And we'll advise you appropriately, properly, and help you make a great decision so that, you have help in the changing market. And that's what we do. Sign up at callwithcoach.com. Go make it happen. It could be a life changer for you. It's going to be a business changer and a game changer for sure, but it could be a life changer for you. So that leads us to today. One of our favorite coaching clients, coached by one of our favorite coaches, Heather Wilson. So our guest today is a realtor out of East Texas. And for those of you that don't know East Texas is not hugely populated. I just want you to know that. And I'm guessing most of their football teams drive an hour for football games, which is just crazy. I'm in Marietta, Georgia. We drive 10 minutes for most of our football games. So she is a realtor out of East Texas with a background that includes homeschooling, working on her small ranch, and investing in real estate. This led her to the perfect profession, of course, of real estate agent, professional realtor. Wendy provides superior service for all, which has earned her the distinction of one of the top realtors in East Texas. Her fellow realtors and clients have been the beneficiary of her concierge level service, and because of her leadership, she has now organically grown her team. Wendy has the best interest of her clients at heart, and now she is using her knowledge and skill to mentor new agents. When Wendy is not out showing property or negotiating a deal, she can be found volunteering in the East Texas community or spending time with her family, friends, and clients. Somehow, with Wendy's big heart, she always has time for everyone, blocking off the time for undivided attention for those she cares for. Let's all please welcome Wendy Steck to Referrals Podcast. Welcome, Wendy.
I'm very honored. Thank you so much. I am very humbled and honored to be on the podcast. I look forward to it.
Well, you were just saying beforehand that you actually listen to it while working out.
I do.
How cool is it to, like, you're listening to something and it seems like this far off show, it just seems like and then you're on it. Right. And it's like, so how cool is that?
Yeah, it's not gonna lie, it was a little overwhelming because it never crossed my mind until I got the news.
But that's what I love about Referrals Podcast, right? Is, no offense to anybody, we're not looking for Oprah or Tony Robbins or, a lot of people want to interview celebrities, right? What I want to do is I want to take real people and shine the spotlight on them and show that, you know what, you can be the celebrity for the moment because you implement it. It's real people, real referrals, real stories. That's what we do at Referrals Podcast. So what I love is you're real. I mean, in the pre-call, like, you're real. And I already like you and I didn't even know you before this. And it's like, that's what I love about Referrals Podcast is hopefully we're shining a spotlight on these people who are really celebrities in their own right, within their own tribes, in their smaller communities. So I love that. I have to start at the beginning. All right. So when did you first learn about 7L?
It was the summer of 22. It was in a train. Yes,
it can't be December of 2022.
No, the summer of 22.
Oh, summer of 22. Oh my God, that's like last month, right? Basically, not very long ago.
Correct.
So wow, so summer of 22. So tell me about that.
Well, I was at a training and somebody said something about your book, 7 Levels, that said it made an impact on them. Well, I'm all about picking up tidbits. And so I got the book, put it on Audible and hard copy, listened to it at the gym a couple of times. And when I got through, because I'd previously been interviewing for coaching, I was like, oh my gosh, is there some kind of a coaching associated with this book, which led me to Google. And a couple interviews with Heather, I felt like she was the right fit for me versus everybody else that I had been talking to. And the way, because I'm more of a relational person, my clients become my friends and I actually spend time with them afterwards. And so it just seemed like this is something that I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah. And you picked our toughest coach. Heather is so tough. She is tough. I'm telling you, she's got a world of knowledge. Yes. And I love how she holds people accountable and holds me accountable. She holds everyone accountable. And I love it. And she's so focused. And sometimes that's what we need with everything that's going on in today's world is just somebody to help us stay focused and accountable to what we know we need to do, but maybe we put off for one reason or another. So how long have you been in real estate before I get to like why you hired a coach?
Okay. So it's been 5 years and it's been a whirlwind of 5 years. So it's been great.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Can I share one story?
Yes. 100.
So I actually had been interested in real estate previously for investment properties and things. But what was the catalyst to me becoming an agent was buying a house for sale by owner without an agent. And it made me realize the true value and quality representation in this time in somebody's life. And from there, the rest, they say, is history.
Wow.
Or future in the making, basically.
I love that you came at it from the investment standpoint, because one of the things, I just had a meeting on this yesterday one of the things I would really love to see is more realtors become investors. The number one person who should be an investor is a realtor, not a hedge fund, not a, all these other. It really should be a realtor because, first of all, the commission it's paid to yourself. So that's one thing. I mean, you're going to get a 6% or 3% discount on everything you buy. The other thing is the government gives you, great tax benefits for being a professional realtor and investing in real estate. And then you get all the benefits of investing in real estate. So, I mean, there is no passive income in the world. Everything you have to do, you have to work for. But real estate might be, because of appreciation, the only thing that is truly passive, So I love it that you came from that arena instead of me trying to convince all the realtors to be investor. You started out an investor and became a realtor, which is a great flow. I have to ask you, because this is how I roll. Do you remember who mentioned the book in that class? Or do you remember who was teaching the class?
It was somebody that within my brokerage that was affiliated, and I do not remember the name. I just feverishly take notes in a training and I write down books. And that book, I literally didn't write their name down. I was in Audible on my phone downloading the book so that I didn't forget to do it.
There's the best thing.
Implementation.
Instant implementation. That's the best thing that we could have literally covered on this entire podcast I think that's the thing that we need to show is how fast you implemented. Instant implementation. Speed to implementation is one of the keys to success. And, the ones who take longer or never do it, right? Tend to kind of become average. And those that are the instant implementers, end up on a podcast in 3 months, But I have to tell you, I'm going to ask you, I am going to follow up on that to find out who maybe mentioned it and who the instructor was, because I want to express my appreciation to them, because listen, if they had never mentioned it, you would have never got it. And I would have never met you. So
I can find this out.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put a little open box next to that one and we'll follow up afterwards. Okay. All right. So you've been exploring coaching. So you interviewed different places so tell me about, and we have never talked about this on Referrals podcast ever, about the search for a good business coach. So what did you do? I'm genuinely interested in what were your steps in knowing that you were going to go get a coach?
Well, the steps is I knew I had hit a pinnacle in my career. I came in, and when I knew the market was going to start to shift, I knew it was a time for me to maximize and do something better and get back to the structure and procedures and basics of relationships and business as a realtor. And I had a couple people referred to me, but when I talked to them, I was like, I feel like they're going to be paper pushers. Or, and I just knew it was time for me to do something different. And on top of organically, didn't intend to have a team, but it's just kind of playing out that way. And then I was also responsible for other people's future other than myself to a certain extent. So I needed more value to me so that I could add more value to them. And that's really, and people looked at me like I was crazy. You're going to do this right now in this down market? I was like, no, I'm going to go all in. People are going to pull back. It's not me. It's not my personality. It's not the way that I do things when I owned a business previously. This is how I'm moving forward with this. So at the end of all this, I'm on the top instead of down below, forgotten about.
Wow. Love all of that. I just wrote a blog on the commit culture versus the cancel culture. And I
did that. I read that one.
And it's so easy to cancel in today's world. It's so easy to get out, and everybody nod their head and go, it's okay for you to get out. It's okay for you to quit. It's okay. And the thing is no, you made a commitment. There's only one way to success, and that's to go all in, 100% full on committed. Yes. And here's the thing, you go all in and then in 6 months, you're like, oh, it's not working out. then you can make another decision about being committed all in. But too many people are wishy-washy. Oh my gosh, that's the first time I've ever said that on this podcast, the words wishy-washy. People can be wishy-washy and they wash out, because they're wishing instead of, actually washing. But it's one of those where I love that how you put that and said it. And part of that is another thing is I believe that everyone should have at least one team member. And most of the time it should be a transaction coordinator or an assistant. And the reason I say that is because it brings instant accountability with it. You will show up to work if somebody else is showing up to work. If you are solo and you're on you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just go to Panera today. I don't know, maybe I'll just go to Starbucks today.
Yeah.
But when you have someone, it's like, oh crap, I better show up for them just to like make sure I'm a good leader, make sure I'm a good manager. So,
well, if you don't mind it, if I can add one thing to that. So I did have an assistant that was also acting as a transaction coordinator and got her license so she could do more things, but then she became an agent. Mm-hmm. And then I'm back to building the other parts of it. And then another team member come on. So yes, it's different. And I knew I couldn't have done last year by myself with the volume and the number of transactions that I did. I knew it going into the year. So preemptive strike there again and hired them and just went for it.
I love that. Do you, by any chance, know the DISC behavioral style of the assistant that you hired, the one that was working as a transaction coordinator and an assistant?
Well, that's actually something that Coach Heather and I actually talked about. Is that I want that done because it's not a DI. That's
exactly right. They become you, right? And it's like, no, yeah, that's awesome. So for those of you that are
next steps.
Yeah. So those of you that are maybe newer to Referrals podcast, or we are big followers of the DISC, and we give every one of our coaching clients, along with all of our employees and our contractors and our virtual assistants, the DISC test. And the DISC test will show basically if they're going to be D, straight to the point, their I, social and outgoing, their S, which is steady and dependable, right? Loving, nurturing. And then the C is cautious and perfectly accurate, which is something that we definitely want in a transaction coordinator. And they don't have to be super fast to be but they have to be super accurate. So, CSI, CS sometimes make a really good assistant. The SI, maybe sometimes, you can get by with an SD sometimes, but they're very rare. And what you don't want to do is get an STD. All right. So anyway, enough with the letters. But here's the thing is, so what did you like about Heather, right? So you did the call with Heather. What did you like? What kind of resonated after talking to all these other places?
Well, it was a lot of things, but the main thing I could say is I could tell that it was more relational focused. And I could tell that she really wanted to get to know me and where I was at to actually help me not mix me in with the masses, because we're all created differently, right? Mm-hmm. And so in her experience and what she's done, and as a realtor herself, some of these coaches weren't even realtors and some of them were, but they were saying, well, I'm going to produce this document for you and this document for you. Right. I just felt like I was going to get more deliberate coaching for me and where I'm at and where I want to go versus somewhere else.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's truly Heather. What's amazing, she's high D with a D chaser, right? So she is like get stuff done, man. I'm telling you. And what I love about that is that even with her being that way, she can also be really relational and really teach and that's had to be learned because of her behavioral style over the years. So you're getting her 30 years of experience and everything she's done, which led you to, honestly, what got you on my radar recently was that you mentioned that you wanted to incorporate events into your business, but you didn't just mention it. You didn't talk the talk. You actually walked the walk. You actually did an event. Yes? All right. So, and this is your very first event.
Yes.
So what did you do?
So I think it was my second coaching session. She said something about a piggyback event,
That's right.
and I had expressed to her that I'd been wanting to do a VIP client event for past clients, but hadn't executed it just because of the busyness of the season that we've had the last couple of years. And she goes, well, and I told her there was one in my town, the biggest one event that they have all year long, and it was in October. Well, when she said, okay, let's do it, I was like, okay, here we go. I got off the phone with her and I realized that it was in less than 6 weeks away. It was at the beginning of October versus the end of October. Didn't matter. Started calling, just started going through the process. And
All right, hold a second. All right, we got to back up a second. All right, so define in your words a piggyback event versus having an event.
So for my piggyback event, what it was coached to me is a bigger event in the community or something else that was going on. And so I invited my past clients, rented a booth space. I invited past clients to that event so that they can enjoy the whole festivities of the day, but yet get to connect with them, give them their gift, visit with them, and all those things like that.
So yeah, so you're borrowing on the marketing, the attraction,
Yes.
the traffic of another event to have your own sub event. A piggyback event is really an event within an event.
Yes.
And I love it because even if none of your past clients showed up, you were still going to meet people and have the opportunity to interact with people. I love it. So I say, the success is in the planning. So what did you do in the planning of your event? And what was the name of the event, just so I have it? It was in Tyler, Texas, right?
It was in Lindale, Texas.
Lindale. How do you spell Lindale?
Lindale.
Okay. And what was the name of it?
It was our Country Fest. And I want to say it was like the 39 annual Country Fest.
Wow.
And it's the largest event that our local community has here, which Lindale, Texas is in the northern part of Smith County, which also contains Tyler. So that's where Tyler comes into play. But people come from all over to come to this event.
How many people in Lindale?
Oh my gosh, the population has changed so much. I couldn't even tell you.
100,000?
No, oh gosh.
10,000?
No. Maybe like 7 to 10.
Yeah. And how many in Tyler, Texas?
Oh, don't make me lie to you. Don't make me lie.
It's like 7 to 10 too, right?
No, it's a lot larger.
Is it?
Okay. It is a lot larger.
All right. So, but I'm guessing that maybe the Country Fest did draw some people from Tyler as well.
It does. So
yeah.
Just to give your idea, so I'm friends with the chamber president, and I asked her because I was trying to figure out what to expect because they don't really sell tickets to go into the event. Mm-hmm. So first I needed to figure out about how many people attend. Mm-hmm. And she said last year they're estimating that it was over 8,000 attended this event.
Wow.
So I don't know what the numbers were this year, but I'm almost quite certain it was larger than that.
Okay. And I hope everybody caught on to what you did as part of your planning. Part of your planning was to talk to the chamber president to get a feel for the event. And you probably asked the chamber president like 10 to 15 questions just to make sure you were properly prepared. Yes?
Yes. And I also was getting information for her for vendors that might be there that I might be able to partner with as gift from my clients, doing business with the other vendors in the event, so that and I've already gotten a referral off of one of the vendors that I did business with for the gifts.
I hope everybody wrote that down. I mean, you literally got, and by the way, I hope that you follow up with the chamber president. And is it her or him? Just so I get
It's her.
Okay. So, and you follow up with her and you say, hey, listen, do you remember connecting me to this vendor? Because that vendor actually referred me. So I just want to call and say, thank you so much for the information you gave me and the connection to this vendor, because without that, I would have never gotten this referral. And I mean, imagine what that does for the chamber president. I mean, the chamber president wants to enact action. and they want successes in the business community. Well, when you call to think, they're like, I made a difference, and I made a great connection. Well, that, she's going to be probably encouraged and empowered to connect you to other great vendors and other great businesses in the area.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah, love that. Sometimes we stop at the referral source with our appreciate. Well, some people don't even go that far, but we need to really be thinking. Do you remember how you met the chamber president?
Oh, I've been friends with her for several years because in our community, when there's a need, say like somebody is diagnosed with cancer or somebody's house burns down, we have a big fundraiser and we all come together as a community and we do things, and she's part of that.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. All right. And okay. So what was the day of the event like?
Amazingly busy. It was actually this last Saturday, October the 8th.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you want me to expand upon my strategic partners that I called
beforehand? So let's do this. What did you do to invite people? And then let's talk about the strategic partners as a part of that, right?
So to invite past clients, because I have a lot of them, I did first a mass email with a video clip at the bottom of the email with me actually at the location of the event, showing my appreciation to them, inviting them, letting them know that there will be a gift for them, plus chances for raffle prizes and things like that. And then I followed that back up. Well, in that email, I'll also put a link to the Country Fest so they could see what else was available there for them other than just me. Yeah. And then when it got to a certain point, when I started getting RSVPs, I did an Eventbrite to invite to them as well. So, but the video was separate. And then when I started getting the RSVPs, there was some people that I felt like, they want to catch up with me all the time. So then I started going through and texting people. And so for a day I texted, and that resulted in more RSVPs. And then there was a couple people that I just specifically made phone calls. So I did.
You basically ran the event mastery. You basically ran the event mastery system, like literally in order.
And so I also did a post on social media that I will admit I didn't execute it quite like I wanted to, but I did do it. And so, but everybody in my community and then we invited personally some people that we knew that we would talk to. As a matter of fact, there was a guy at my house working on the internet because there was a glitch. I invited him because he's thinking about selling his home. Our grand prize giveaway, he's actually the one that was pulled out and won the grand prize.
Oh, wow. Wow. And all right. So that is such a great example of the power of an event. What would you have talked to him about while you wouldn't have talked to him maybe? If he came and was working on the internet and you didn't have an event, what you may have talked to him a little bit, but you wouldn't have talked to him about anything. But you had this thing that was very attractive, which was the event. And when you invite somebody, it's by definition it's in vital, right? Which means in my life. Vital, like vital signs, is invite. Yes. So when you invite someone, you are telling them to come into your life. So. And that they're vital to you. So what, and that turned into the grand prize winner. That's going to turn into a listing down the road.
I hope.
Well, that's the power of it. You took a stranger and now he's part of your tribe.
Yes.
You think he'll use any other agent?
No, he will not.
Yeah. Right. And what did he win? What was the big prize?
4 Dallas Cowboy tickets between Dallas and Texans.
So it's a Dallas versus Houston game?
Yes.
That pretty much covers Texas.
Yes.
Nice work there. So, yeah, that's, so here's the other thing. He goes to the game. Is he going to take pictures? He's going to take pictures. And then he's going to put it on social media, and then he's going to brag about you and how great a realtor you are, even though he has no idea how you are as a realtor. But he loves you because you got him Cowboys tickets, and hopefully the Cowboys beat the Texans that week. And and it's everybody's happy and it's all great. So
his wife and his wife actually want me to use one of the tickets.
oh, wow. You even got invited back to the game. I hope you turned it down, because the finest way to express your appreciation to me is through referrals. You don't have to worry about inviting me to dinner or anything like that. The greatest way to give back, if you feel the urge, is through introductions, connections, and referrals, right?
Yes.
Love it.
But it was pretty awesome nonetheless.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
That's so beautiful. I love it. All right. So, I mean, this is your first ever event.
Yes.
So first of all, how many strategic partners, sponsor partners, did you end up having for this piggyback event?
Okay, so I had a title company there that consists of my favorite escrow agent. She just moved title companies. So I had her whole team there, and I thought it was just going to be her. I had my inspector there, another inspector later in the day. I had a roofer there to answer questions about that kind of thing too. I had one of my preferred lenders and his assistant team member there too. And then I had an up and coming professional photographer on site with a setup to take pictures of people passing the booth and to try to capture pictures throughout the event. So
love that.
So let's see, at some point there was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There was between 7 and 10 people pretty much always behind my booth. Or our booth, not my booth.
Yeah. I love that. And then how many prizes were you giving away?
6.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is I'm such a firm believer. So many people will give away one. And the thing about one is people don't feel like they can win one. But if you have 3 or more, people instantly think that they have a 99% better chance of winning, even though the truth is they don't. They only have a little bit more chance, but they feel like they have more of a chance to win if there's more door prizes. Right. So all right.
Can I add one thing? I left out a partner.
Yeah.
I left out a partner because they weren't actually present.
Yeah.
Fidelity Home Warranty, which is, I recommend them a lot. They also provided a gift. And so, yes, I just wanted to make sure to tag that in there.
Yeah, I love it. All right. And how did you get them? What was your conversations like to get, I mean, this is your very first event ever and you have 10 sponsors. That's like drop the mic stuff. So how did you get those sponsors and strategic partners?
Okay, so I'm pretty candid and honest.
Yeah.
I called them.
Yeah. That's
I called them. I just called them.
Yeah. Did you hear Helena yesterday on the RMS call? So RMS was postponed, so we did a mastermind for them to give them a gift and to tell them some things for the fourth quarter. And it was so funny as Helena Jacino is one of our coaching clients, and she was talking about everybody's like, oh my God, you got that big giant sponsor. How'd you get it? And she just said, I just called them. They were totally waiting for this moment. And it was just like, I was talking to them about the event and they said, do you want me to help out with that? And I said, yes. And then they sent me money. And that was literally the entire, yes. I mean, that's it. You called them. You yes. called them and invited them and figured out a way to partner with them. And so I love it. All right. So tell me about the results. What were the results of your piggyback event?
Okay. So the results were pretty spectacular. I was pretty impressed. And what I will say is the feedback is still coming in from the partners that were there. I've gotten some really great letters from title and lender expressing to me they couldn't believe that this was my first event. wanting to partner with me in future already.
Hmm.
So that's the
Maybe
big
this thing works.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got those emails last night and I was like, so for us as agents in the booth, we got a total of 195, 97. It was counted different entries into the raffle.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to a bunch of people. We got 20 referrals tickets. I already have one listing appointment scheduled off of this. The photographer that donated her time to take pictures got 2 photo. How do you call that?
Opportunities,
Yes,
basically,
no,
right?
they're scheduled.
Sessions.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're scheduled. The title company escrow agent was one of my favorite, and she just switched title companies. So therefore, she was not dealing with a lot of the same realtors she had been dealing with. She got back a team that she hadn't been working with, and she got 2 new ones. And that was as of yesterday. Because like I said, the results keep changing every day because this was just Saturday. We're talking just a few days ago.
You're going to see a month to 2 months to maybe even 3 months of this. I'm telling you, that the fortune is in the follow up. Yeah.
Yes. And so as we continue to follow up, because, more things are happening, the lending team connected with other real estate booths that were in the area. The roofer connected with 3 possible roof jobs. The home warranty company, of course, wasn't present. They just got a lot of information passed out and their bags were on the table to be given away in 100+ bags, that purple bags running around. So yeah, it was pretty phenomenal. I'm so stoked about the 20 referral tickets because I was thinking I might get like 5 because I felt so inadequate starting this event because I literally had a little less than 6 weeks to put it all together. And my team members stepped up and helped cut raffles and we drew things up and we just were like, but from an outsider's perspective, because I've asked people and they said, we thought it was amazing. But me on the inside was going, what else do I need to do?
So you generated 20 referrals from this.
Yes.
And for sure a listing appointment that you're going to go and hopefully list. And what's kind of like the average sales price in your area, or what's your average sales price?
My average is around 300. Now that's not the average sales price for the area.
Yeah.
But mine tends to be like 275-ish, 300-ish is my average.
And the listing appointments in that range?
I'm not for sure yet.
Okay.
It's actually in Tyler.
Okay.
I actually meet with them this afternoon.
Yeah, but I can do the math pretty quick. 3% of 300,000 is basically 9,000 times 20, right? What is that? 180 grand in income, right?
So I haven't done that math yet.
yeah. I tend to do it really fast now because we've gotten so many of these at this point. You got to figure out what is the, you got to figure your ROI on events. Yes. And here's the thing. I mean, return on income, right? It's what is your return on investment with this is all right. So tell me this, what was your investment? Like how much did you pay to do this event?
I paid my booth spaces and just a few tickets with a vendor, which was under $400 total out of my pocket.
Okay. And then did the sponsors at all help with the investment?
They did everything else.
Okay. All right. So they did a lot of the work and the door prizes and things like that.
Yes.
So in this case, you did have an out-of-pocket expense, right?
Well, that was my choice too.
Yeah.
And I got 2 booths instead of 1 so that I could have a space for a photographer.
Yep.
It would have been well under $200 if I hadn't have got that extra, but I was willing to invest into the event and invest into her because the photographer is actually one of my favorite servers at where I do my one-to-ones at. Yeah. And I was asking her, what else do you want to do? And she goes, I'm a photographer also. And then I was like, oh, had a meeting with her, talked to her, and she goes, I'm all over it.
I love how you you're doing the networking stack at the home court advantage, and one of your servers at the home court advantage is a photographer as well, and probably a passion project of hers.
Yes.
And you supported it 110%. I see free meals in your future. So that's fantastic. And the other thing too, I literally have a page and a half of notes here. The what are you going to do better next time?
That's what we have been strategizing. I'm going to continue to meet with each partner and see from their perspective. They can't see a whole lot that we could have done better. For me,
Yeah.
I wished I would have had a specifically designated person to post and do things on social media. That's all that they did, because I didn't have time to do any of that because it was nonstop all day, all day, all day.
Could
I
your
wish
photographer do that?
she was nonstop all day
That's
too.
awesome.
And
Yep.
she had to be clocked back into her normal job at halfway through the day. And she was like, I don't want to leave. I want to stay.
How
But
cool is
another
that?
thing I will tell you is that when I talked to the title company, they just said, thank you for including us. This felt like such a family thing. And they deal with my lender over the phone and over emails, but they felt like everybody got together and it just flowed and it worked. They loved it.
Yeah. I love that. My only coaching on this is that you might want to have the sponsors put a little bit in for things like the booth and the marketing and any of your other costs, and really work on getting your next one to be zero based or even slight profit. And the slight profit is payment for your time. You spend a lot of time in 6 weeks to make this happen. Don't ever discount your time. Your time is worth something. The other thing is, what is the organization of all this worth? It's almost priceless. So you should be paid for that, and your team should be paid for that, and not just with referrals and not just with like nice emails. And listen, the nice emails are. I mean, this is your first event, so you know.
Yeah, it's my first one.
Yeah, it's hard to knock 20 referrals. And how many outgoing referrals did you end up having total? Do you know how many leads for your strategic partners? You still counting that up?
Yeah, still counting that up. And that's what, and you asked me a question, and this is something that we haven't touched on, and I don't know how much more time we have. But when I started looking for a coach, one of the things that I left out is when I started real estate, because there's a lot of agents in my area, like a lot. And a lot of them are producers. So and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I, in my past, have spent a lot of money on Zillow and Realtor and all these things. And so I'm strategically trying to pull away from that and convert out. And so for people that are out there doing that, there is a better way. There honestly is. And yes, it's scary to let that go, that the phone is going to ring, but I don't mind putting money into things that I can give back into people instead of giving this huge entity over here that really doesn't have my best interest or anybody's best interest at heart.
Well, I'm sure they have somebody's best interest at heart, but I'm not sure if it's their clients. And maybe it is, but maybe they're just like, we're providing a service for leads that the agents can't provide themselves, and so they should invest in it. And listen, it's I'm not anti anything. I've said that before on here. I mean, why is this called the Referrals Podcast, not Michael J. Maher Podcast, not the Maher Show? Why is it called Referrals? Because I love referrals. I love referrals, and it's kind of like women. Right? I don't have anything against women. I like women. I like a lot of women. There's a lot of women I love, but I just happen to really, really, really love my wife. Right? It's the same way with referrals. There's a lot of ways to get business, and I'm not anti any of those, but I'm really, really, really pro, and I really, really love the referral game, and especially when you break it down to self-mastery, relationship mastery, and event mastery, which we do in the referral mastery system, which we teach. And I mean, self-mastery is a big deal. Relationship mastery is a big deal. And event mastery is a big deal. And all together they combine, they're worth working on. When you work on yourself, then it's so much more fulfilling than working on Zillow's site or working on Realtor site or working with their leads. I mean, it's more fulfilling to work on these relational type things than it is to chase. And
Yes.
please notice, all these people came to you, and the invitation process is attractive. Well, the planning process can get you referrals. That was what Helena was talking about, is she ran one of our strategies called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire strategy. And during the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire strategy, she was doing a poll the audience approach. And one of them approached her about being a sponsor and paying big money to be a sponsor. And you can get referrals in the planning sequence. You can get referrals in the invitation sequence, the confirmation sequence, the event sequence, and the follow-up sequence. And all of those are attractive versus having to chase. And I don't know if this is Homelight just announced that they're changing their referral fee from 25% to 33%. So there were realtors out there who were getting leads from Homelight, and now their costs have gone up 8% to pay Homelight. And what are they getting for that extra 8%? They're not getting anything different. They're not getting anything more. Homelight can just say, you've enslaved yourself to me, so I'm going to raise your price. Well, what's next? It's going to be 42%. I guarantee it, because we just saw other lead generation entities go from 35%, start at 25, went to 32, went to 35, and now they're at 42. What's stopping all of those places from raising those cuts? Zillow raised their monthly fee, right? And the thing is, if you're beholden to that, if you're enslaved by that, what choice do you have? You just have to pay more money and make a decision. Whereas, you know what we can do? We can go out and have another event. We can go out and have a networking stack. We have 100% control over our business versus somebody else being in control. So,
and I love the fact that this is another thing too that happened at the event. I loved seeing some of my past clients meet each other, and being able to just watch this whole thing unfold, and past clients visiting with visitors at the booth. And it was just, because a lot of my best clients I did get from lead generation systems. I just converted them, and it's more relational once you get to a certain point. So yes, I agree with everything you just said. And I'm looking forward to doing this again. And obviously so is everybody else, because they're asking me.
So that you just hit it on the head. Why I love this is, what if we could bring fun back to prospecting? This was fun. And the other thing is, it's not just fun. It's even more productive. It gets better results. It's just like what you just said. I'm looking forward to doing the next prospecting in this system. And whereas, I could ask you, are you looking forward to your next Zillow lead? Are you looking forward to your next Realtor.com lead? Are you looking forward to your next Homelight lead? And I'm telling you, all the Homelight customers are not looking forward to their next Homelight lead. They're not, because they're paying more. Sure. It's like, all right, well, I'll pay that, or whatever. And some people are like, well, the expenses are, they haven't changed, so it still makes sense. And it's like, good for you. That's fine. But the thing is all roads lead to the database. Yes. Or they should. All roads should lead to the referral mastery system. Like you said, you've converted some of these. Well, now they're part of your family. They're part of your tribe of trust. Yes. Well, once they're part of your tribe of trust, they're never going to become a lead again.
No.
Right? So I there's so much beauty to this. And Wendy, this is the first time I've met you, the first time I've had a chance to talk to you. And I just have absolutely loved this conversation. You're in it for all the right reasons, and you're the type of person that should be doing what we do because of where your heart is. And I love what you said about the connectivity, right? The new ABC is always be connecting. The old one was always be closing. Yeehaw, I'm glad that era is over. But it's always be connecting. When you get these people, there's things that happen. When a past client meets a past client, they both like you, and they're like, oh, you know Wendy too? Yeah, I know Wendy. I love Wendy. She's awesome. I love Wendy too. Well, then when they leave, they're both emboldened, and they're like empowered. to refer you and talk about you more because they've seen other people who like you. And then there's nothing like a stranger meeting an ambassador and they're like, I don't know when, oh my God, you don't know Wendy? She's the most awesome person ever. Look at this. I mean, and the energy of the event feeds their excitement. So they're even more excited about you and, you know, and being an ambassador for you. So there's so many great things that are going on with what you did. I love it. And I just any final words of wisdom for anybody that is listening to this? Maybe they're considering running their first event, or they're thinking about coaching, or they're thinking about going all in. What kind of advice would you give them?
There again, it's very simple. Just do it. You just got to start. I mean, yes, each step may be harder or easier than the next one, but you just got to do it. And that's just me and my personality, though. Just got to do it.
Love that. And so often it's that's the advice from Referrals Podcast is just do it now, just start. And what I hope is this is the one, if you're listening to this or watching it on YouTube, is that this is the one that just, you're like, finally, I think this, I'm going to just do it and just see what happens. And some people are at that point in the fourth quarter. They didn't have to be that way in March and April because things were popping, right? But now it's like, man, maybe I need a system. Maybe I need a lead generation system. And by the way, the people in Gen, the people in the referral mastery system, we haven't changed a thing because of the changing market. We did not change the way we prospect. Everything is the same. We didn't have to change. What changed were the conversations. What changed is all of a sudden we have a lot more buyers to work with than we did before. And we have a lot more sellers and investors to work with in general. But it's one of those where what I hope is that and here's the thing. For those of you that are watching, listening, you got it this far. We're an hour into this, right? I was saying, hey, let's do a 30-minute podcast. There's no way. There were so many pearls of wisdom in here, so much, so much beauty, honestly, in this podcast that shutting it off after an hour feels almost like a crime. But what I hope is if you've listened this far, you're a learner, you're ready to go. Do me a favor, go to eventmastery.com. Go to eventmastery.com. Check out our Event Mastery class. I am leading the Event Mastery class, and essentially it starts today. I know for some of you that's like, but for some of you are like, damn it, I'm ready, I'm all in, I'm committed, let's go. And if you're that person, then invest in Event Mastery. In a live training, will take you through 7 weeks of doing your event. I will help you get sponsors. I will help you get charities involved. I will help you with the planning process, invitation sequence, the confirmation sequence. I will help you choose your event, and I will help you with the follow-up to maximize your fortune that you can get from the follow-up. Me, with you, holding your hand through doing your first event. It's eventmastery.com. It is an investment, and I know for some people it's a significant investment, but it's worth every penny. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. It's going to be hard, but I will tell you that it will be worth it because once you do it, you can do it for the rest of your career, and you're going to wonder why you haven't been doing it all your life. So go to eventmastery.com and check it out. And Wendy, I just have to say this was so good. I do have an action item for you. You got to tell me who connected you with the book because I want to make sure I express my appreciation to them. I will also express my appreciation to Heather Wilson, who referred you to me recently and is also your coach. And I just want to say thank you so much for being our guest here on Referrals Podcast today.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Heather. I'm very grateful and very blessed.
That's beautiful. I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you go from a piggyback event to a piggy bank event? That's right. She did a piggyback event and it led to more in her piggy bank. And not only that, but we brought fun back to prospecting. I hope that's what you learn to do. I hope that's what you want to do. I hope you also tune in to future Referrals Podcast episodes. You can go to referralspodcast.com to catch downloads from every one of our episodes from the last 2 to 3 years. And the bottom line is, oh my gosh, I just have to tell you, you have to listen to our next podcast. I already know the guest. I already know what we're doing. You have to, if you like today, you're going to like that one too. And if you love today, I know you're going to love that one as well. I can't wait to see you on the next episode of Referrals Podcast. Thanks, everybody, and have a great one. Bye-bye.